Hi guys, I want to run down how to interpret your grades and talk just a little bit about the decision to stay in the course or take a W in the course that's coming up later this week. I'm showing you right now the Canvas web page. I've got logged in as a student, which gives us the ability to look at the grades for the test students. I'm going to click grades over here, and this gives me the grades for test student. I've just been putting in some random grades for this test students so we can see that. One thing to make sure when you're looking at this is that it makes a lot more sense if it's arranged by assignment group. If you change it, you need to click the apply button to let it set in. But again, it just makes more sense to do it by assignment group because that's how the grades are weighted. Up over at the top here, I have the total grade at the moment based on what's there. You can click Show Details and see a little bit more details about it. Then over here on this side, you've got the weightings for the different groups. There are some extraneous groups here. There seems to be a plain old assignments group that has nothing in it. The raw score grades is where I put grades in that I'm going to curve. Imported assignments is for bringing stuff in. The what-if scores, I'm not sure how to do that. That doesn't show up in the test student view, I don't think, but maybe you can figure that out. So anyway, I'm going to go from here now, change what I'm looking at, and bring up the OneNote notebook. So here's our OneNote notebook. I'm in the General Info tab on the page for interpreting your grades in Canvas. So it's pretty much the same thing you get if you print that, and I printed over here this part of it so we can see the group weights, and I thought I could write a little bit on this and explain what's going on. So the sapling assignments, you do those assignments over on the sapling website. That website is has due dates for those assignments there, and what I do is for every exam, the ones that are due right before that exam together are used to get the grade for that. I usually add up all the points everyone gets on those, and then I express that for everyone as a percentage of the highest score. So whoever gets the highest score gets 100 and everybody else gets a percentage based on that. And then I do the square root curve, which is to take the square root of that percentage and multiply it by 10. Which usually gives you pretty good grades. If you get 49% of the highest score, square root of 49 is 7. 7 times 10 is a 70. That's the lowest C. So getting 50% of the average of the highest score gets you roughly a C grade there. So that's to be clear. Now, what you'll notice is you'll see scores that have this little X on them there. That is a indication that X tells you that that score has been dropped. So at this point in time, I'm dropping one of the 3 sapling assignments, and it automatically picks the lowest one for you to drop. And so you should see that as well in yours. Then these other ones here are not yet due, I don't know what its logic is about putting them in order. I don't understand why they're not in order by due date within the assignment group, but ours is not to reason why. But anyway, so the thing looking at here is that we'll have 9 of these, and I'll drop 3 of them. So I'm dropping 1 out of 3 at this point. What could happen is, at the end of the semester, the first 3 that you already have in the book may not even count for you. So you can definitely turn things around there if you haven't. The other assignments, and it took a big jump on the page down here, this is what they call the other assignments, which are the smart thinking sessions. And again, there's a bunch of those. And, again, pretty much what happens is you go to your smart thinking session, you upload your documentation that you did a session, and if you did a session, you get 100 out of 100, which is about as easy as it gets. If you do something like, let's say you, instead of doing a live session, you uploaded a question, I might give that 70 out of 100. That's not what I'm asking you to do, but I might give you some partial credit for that. Again, you notice that this has dropped 1. Did not drop 2 from here, dropped 1 out of 5 because, again, this is not a difficult thing for you to do. I would like to say about these that it's important The idea is that you try to use these to help you do better in the class. And I say this because as I've glanced at these, as I've gone through, a number of students are clearly just finding the first question they can and throwing it up there to document this assignment. And I understand that accomplishes the goal of getting these little bits of points. But what you really should do is you should, schedule these sessions with Smart Thinking tutors, at least weekly, if not more often, again, for your own good. Have them scheduled. That's the best way to get a good live session. And then as you're doing work on the course, save problems that you run into that are difficult for you, and then take those problems to the tutor, having struggled with them a little bit, and get feedback on those. Again, the more focused you can do about that, the better off that session will be. It'll really help you, I think, turn your grades around. Then down here we have, this was just, this financial clearance thing doesn't do anything. These are the curved hour exam grades, or exams, or tests, whatever you say. A lot of times I'll say HRX for hour exam. And we've dropped the lowest one of the three. We're going to have, I think it's a grand total of 8 exams this semester. So again, I anticipate dropping 3 of those eventually. So 1 out of 3 will eventually become more. The hour exams carry 30% weight, which is down a little bit from what I would normally do. Those other assignments are 10% of your weight of your grade, and the hour exams are 30%. So the quizzes start here and go down here a ways, I guess, to that trial upload quizzes is where we are. Not doing quite as many quizzes as we do in a face-to-face type session. Did drop, again, one of those quizzes, I guess 2 of those quizzes I dropped out of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 5 quizzes. So dropping 2 out of 5, that's a pretty good deal. You see that trial student hasn't done a very good job with having not gotten those quizzes turned in. So the quiz average might suffer a little bit for trial student here. The quizzes are counting, I think it's just 10%. Quizzes are listed actually as counting 30%. So, again, probably need to give you more of those, and they're worth paying attention to. Again, what I tried to do this semester was shift as much things as I could. The final exam is not in here yet. It's not published yet, but the final exam is, what was that, about 20%? Final exam is only 10%, so it's not as big a deal this year for the final exam. You can't, unfortunately, you can't turn around a lot of your grade there. So anyway, so what you have here now in these categories, and again, this is 10%, and this was 30%, and the quizzes was 30%, and sapling assignments, I think, was 20%. And then the final exam will be 10%, but we got no information there. What it does basically is, to this point, is calculate the average based on what's available. So if we know that we have 86% of this 20% portion of your grade, if we express that as out of 20 points, 20% of 100 is 20 points, 86 times 20 percent, or 86 times 0.2 is going to give me 17.2. Other assignments, test student has 75% of the 10%, so that's 7.5 out of what will ultimately be 10% of the grade in the course, so 7.5 out of 10. Our exams, 96.5% out of 30%. And again, these are square root curved. They're not square root curved by the max grade, but square root curved nonetheless on the original grade. So 96.5, if I express that as 30, that's going to be pretty close to 30. 96.5 times 0.3 gives me 20. That doesn't sound right. That's because I typed it wrong. 96.5 times 0.3. Yeah, 28.95 out of 30. And then quizzes here, 50% out of 30. That's going to be 15 out of 30 there. And again, we don't have any data, obviously, on the final exam. But so what you have, you put all these together, we got 20, 10, 30, 30. So grand total of 90 points possible. And we have 17.2 plus 7.5 plus 28.95 plus 15. That gives me 68.65 out of 90 at that point. That is a 76.2%. If I divide that and multiply it by 100%, and that's the number that comes up there, the 76.2. And of course, that's just basically a 10-point scale going along there. So anyway, so you can use the information in Canvas to figure out where you stand and kind of have an idea of what you might be able to change. You know, there's always a pretty good chance of turning things around. Now, in terms of sticking in the course, the deadline for the W period is coming up on this Friday, October the 23rd. If you're going to W out of this course, you need to go through your advisor. Normally, I would probably be able to help you with that. I'm going to be relatively unavailable after Wednesday this week because my daughter is getting married this weekend, so I have to go do a lot of stuff around that. So you'll probably want to interact with Dr. Kern. If you want to talk to me about it, you need to talk to me between now and Wednesday. To count this course towards graduation in a biology or chemistry major, or to move on to the next course, to organic chemistry, you've got to make a C or better in this course. So a D would let you count the course towards graduation if you left the major, and but it would not count in the major, and you would not be able to move forward. So keep that in mind. If, for example, there are a few of you out there who don't have a sapling account and aren't doing the sapling assignments, I would say that if you've elected not to get that, then you've made a decision not to succeed in this course, and there's no point wasting any more of your time on the course if that's the way you're gonna do it. But that's my opinion. I suppose it's theoretically possible one could pass the course without that, but given that that's 20% of the grade that you're giving up there, you're starting at considerable disadvantage. And of course, the only reason I ask you to do that stuff is because it helps you do better on the exams. Again, my goal is not to flunk a bunch of people. That's certainly not what I'm about, but I don't want to send anyone on to organic chemistry who isn't ready for it, because that's not going to do you any good either. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck with your decisions, and again, I'm here for you. Emails are the best way to get me if you have a question about anything. Hope you have a good week.